Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So, when asked which creature is the most slept on, each person will probably have their own hot takes, and for me personally, I think that there is no creature that is as blatantly ignored as the Killmoulis. Smiles, what's a Killmoulis? You might be asking. Well, it's only single-handedly probably one of the best D&D creatures of all time. It's a fey creature that I genuinely thought was an aberration the first time I saw it because of this picture. And I'm not going to lie, a majority of the reason why I like them is because I think that they're very funny. They make me laugh. Hysterically. And we're going to get into that. Killmoulis, you see, are like many other fey creatures. They love little goodies, they like trinkets and things, and they like baked goods, fruits, nuts, and other things that they can eat and that they find delectable. But I can imagine you might already be beginning to see some confusion here. Eating? You see, Killmoulis eat by, and I quote, snuffling up their food. Some information that we gain from the description says the following. At night, it sneaks into travelers' camps and looks through their supplies for tasty treats, but will settle for rations, nuts, and other snacks. If it finds them, it quickly snuffles up a day's worth of food with its long nose. So personally, when it comes to Killmoulis, I just find the imagery of this thing just shoving food up its nose like a preschooler that doesn't know any better very entertaining. Anyways, getting back on track, the Killmoulis are much more than a small fey creature that makes me laugh because I'm immature and have the humor of a 12-year-old. The Killmoulis are also heavily rooted in real-world mythology. You see, typically in fey folklore in the real world, fey are often creatures of bane or blessings, and in many cases there'll be these little creatures that will bless the household and the people living there if they like the residents. And some fey will even bless the household and the people living there by doing some of their chores and just generally helping out around the vicinity. And the Killmoulis actually embody these concepts to a T. The Killmoulis is a creature that has the ability to bless creatures it likes and banes creatures it doesn't. And what these blessings and banes do is affect the quality of your long rest. Now, normally in D&D, it doesn't matter what sort of ailment you could be suffering from. You could nearly have had your mind blown to bits by psychic energy. You could have third-degree burns all over your body. You could have been dismembered in 5 different places. But all of your boo-boos will magically go away if you get a solid 8 hours of sleep. Mechanically, we know that this is by regaining your hit die and getting up to full health after you take a long rest. However, the Killmoulis bends this factor of this mechanic. So if a Killmoulis likes you, you'll wake up in the morning feeling extra rested with a whopping 10 temporary hit points and all of your hit die replenished. But if you've done something to anger a Killmoulis, you can wake up not regaining any spent hit die from the day before. Now at a quick glance, this means that your party can be extra tankier if they've got the Killmoulis' favor, and it also means that they can't short rest as well if they somehow ticked it off. And early game, this is huge. Getting an extra 10 temporary hit points for an entire party is massive. Because also too, the Killmoulis can affect 8 creatures it can see within 100 feet of it. So yeah, basically this is your entire party. Potentially even giving your group an additional 80 temporary hit points overall. But also, I really like the implication that Killmoulis have on games with modified resting and healing conditions. Now typically a long rest will be 8 hours and a short rest will be usually around 1 hour. In some cases too, some DMs have actually modified how healing works within resting. And one example that I've personally used for a more dangerous campaign was to require that the players roll hit die even at the end of a long rest. They get hit die back at a long rest that they can choose to spend on healing. But even then, there's no guarantee that you'll be healed up to full. And of course, different DMs have their own subtleties to this, and there are actually different rules and variants you can fiddle with in the DMG. But this is one that I've personally used. But anyways, what I like about the Killmoulis is that you can take games where you modify healing and resting, and suddenly, having a Killmoulis as an ally, or even an enemy, becomes a massive deal. Imagine the sort of game where a long rest is a week of time, and now suddenly you can't replenish your hit die until you take a successful, non-Killmoulis affected sleep. That has massive implications to the party and the overall story. What an angry Killmoulis can do is essentially take away an entire party's ability to replenish hit points by spending hit die. And of course, beyond this, I also just like the little flavorings of them. They are, I think, much more of a minor creature, but just being able to go and just run around, and maybe you'll stumble into one of these at a local tavern or even a local inn where your party is staying at. I think that having these sorts of things allows for really interesting plot hooks. Or maybe as someone is just taking guard for the night, you roll for a perception check and they encounter a Killmoulis. That player potentially has the option of just ignoring the Killmoulis and pretending that they didn't see them, because Killmoulis by nature are naturally shy, and being called out is something that they're known to get frustrated at you for. So if a player just lets them go on their merry way, that party can wake up to some extra hit points. And of course, if they stop the Killmoulis and accidentally make an enemy out of them, it can create some very frustrating situations for your party. And of course, with however you want to swing it, there's a lot of different roleplay potential for it too. And even with creatures like the Killmoulis too, that live right on the cusp of humanoid societies, they're really good for starting to introduce more of what the players can expect in a campaign. For example, if your campaign is all about Fae and essentially journeying into the Feywild at later stages of the game, introducing the Killmoulis early on can be a really good way for the players to realize, oh, so this is actually what we're going to be getting ourselves into for this campaign. A lot of Fae shenanigans and trickery, and we need to be mindful that maybe not everything is quite as it seems. So anyways though, I think the Killmoulis are some great creatures with some really interesting mechanics, and also some very funny designs. I'd love to hear about how you use these little lads in your own game too. So let me know in the comments below, or even too if you've actually seen or encountered these guys in a game before. But regardless, that is all the time that I have today for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then please like and subscribe for even more D&D content and ideas. And in the meantime, keep smiling, keep scheming, and I'll see all of you next time.